Bad Samaritan should just be another B or C horror thriller. But then when you put David Tennant as the serial killer in the movie, he really raises the movie above any level that it really should be.
Welcome to Nino's. That's a beautiful car, sir. Yeah, don't touch it.
Navigating home.
Jesus Christ!
Help me, please. We don't have much time.
Name so soon.
Maserati. I'll be right up. Dude, the guy's outside!
Where the hell are you?
I'm sorry.
This movie was directed by Dean Devlin, and it mainly stars, of course, David Tennant and Carrie Condon as the hero. And the basic idea is that this lovable loser, starving artist decides that he has to, with his friend, they're working as valet parkers at a restaurant, and they have this scheme where one of them, when they get the keys, they go in and look for the address and go to their homes and try to steal things that maybe they won't miss for a while. And so that they show that they're bad guys, but they're not bad guys. They're crooks, and they're not horrible people. And then they get to this thing where David Tennant comes up, and they go to his house, and he finds some stuff they could use to get a lot of money. Well, then they also find a woman tied up with like bridles and crops and riding, like things like horse related stuff, like all leather, and they try to figure out what they have to get back to. He has to get back to the restaurant. They can't save her, and then that's the whole impetus for the movie. And I wish the movie had started out right there, but the very beginning, when the movie started, I was like, oh boy, that's not good. Because they have this really random scene where you see who's supposed to be a young David Tennant whipping a horse, and it looks really fake. And then he pulls a gun and shoots someone that's telling him not to do it. And you see it later again when he's dreaming. And that's fine, but it's an odd way to enter the movie. And then right after that, you have this really bad dialogue and theme where he has to introduce his character. He's like, ooh, it's all about, instead of showing them, it's all about telling them. And it's like, because his girlfriend comes in, and it's like, oh, I'm a starving artist. Like, oh, I'm a business major. We shouldn't be together, but I love you. And it's like, it's so poorly done. And I'm it's dragging and waiting for it to get to, the good parts. And the whole reason they do that is because, later, David Tennant is going to go after everything in his life. So they have to set up, the girlfriend, they have to set up, a little bit later, they set up that his family, and he's Irish for some reason, so he has an Irish mom, and his stepdad is just a kind of a douchebag to him. And it's like, yeah, okay, fine. But it says all this stuff, I wish they would have been cut and just get into the meat of the film. Because the film is too long. It's almost 2 hours long. And I think if it had been a really tight hour and a half, it would have been a much better movie. I really think that, I enjoyed this movie a lot. But it dragged at times. And the editing was a little messy. And I couldn't think that if it had a little bit of a rewrite or another edit, I think this movie could have been maybe one of my favorite movies of the year. Because when it hits some of the good stuff, it hits it hard, and it's fucking awesome. It's great some of the times it does this. And there are moments when things go down, and some of the moments even towards the end, they laugh out loud, but how funny they are and how they kind of take a turn on what you would expect, or what some of the tropes of the genre. And I love some of the stuff it does, but it's just other stuff it does is just kind of goofy. David Tennant as this serial killer that's like a trust fund kid, so he has access to like millions and millions of dollars. I mean, that's a scary villain, and I wish they would have used that more. Again, there's more just telling you instead of showing you, because when later on when he starts messing with the guy's life, everything he does, a poor person can do. You know, the only thing that maybe he has like a fancy tracker, and everything else he does, really anybody could do. Like, I think it would have been really interesting when things started to go down. Like, instead of just he like kind of like instead of some of the stuff they did, if he like bought things, if he like spent money, if like his parents were fired because someone bought the company and laid off everyone, like that would have been like crazier. Like, see at the level this guy could go with his money, instead of just some of the stuff that really anybody could do. But, you know, at those moments when stuff to go down, like, it's awesome. And you see, David Tennant as this, like, serial killer that, like, he, like, tries to train these women. I mean, like, he's really good on it. He's kind of spooky. And, the things they do with it is pretty cool. But at the same time, there's almost too much of the horse stuff. Like, I didn't really care about the horse stuff. I mean, it made it kind of cool, the idea that, interesting that he was trying to train these women. But at the same time, it was almost, like, a little bit too much. Like, it didn't need, like, that much. Like, David Tennant was just fine as David Tennant. Like, but I love that, he was kind of, like, OCD, and there's a lot of, like, really cool things with that. And I really love a lot of this movie. That's the problem. Like if I'm more critical of it because I feel like it could have been amazing, and it just didn't quite hit that mark. There's also stuff with like at first, like he tried to go to cops and nothing happened. They tried to go to the FBI, and the FBI get involved. And I really think that you should either have had the FBI involved from the beginning. Like, perhaps that's how you get the cold opening, is about this woman, like, looking into this case. Or if you have it and them not at all. I'm not going to spoil it, but I think the ending would have been even more satisfying if there was never, like, all the FBI stuff didn't have to be there. They probably spent, like, a good 10-15 minutes on the FBI stuff. And I could have just had that all of it torn out. Like, it didn't really add much. And I guess a lot of stuff in the movie, like the girlfriend. Yeah, you need the girlfriend for different stuff, but I think the girlfriend should have come up again earlier. Like, she's in the beginning of the movie, but then like she kind of disappears for most of the film until the story needs her to come back in. And same with the family. And I mean, I think that some of the stuff they do though is great. It's honestly really a satisfying, horror thriller. Like, there's some 1 or 2 jump scares, but they work because like how like some of the stuff they do. I mean, one's fake. I think some of it like kind of real jump scare, but like they work, and like the spookiness kind of works, and like the creepiness of David Tennant and of him like showing that he's way ahead of the hero. That there's a lot of really good stuff with that, and so much of it, like, I think it's a little bit of tweaking could have been perfect. And I mean, David Tennant, he was in Jessica Jones. He was great as a villain, and he's really good as a villain in this. And it's surprising, like, he's such a likable guy, but he plays a great villain. It's just kind of funny because, like, the schlockiness and some of the corniness of the stuff, like, it feels, like just a normal C thriller. But then other stuff about it makes it almost like be like an A movie, and I just like that's like a struggle within the movie, whether it wants to be a really good movie or whether it wants to be a bad movie. And it achieves, I think, at a certain point, it's a good bad movie. And that's a good bad flick. If you know that channel, is one of my favorite film channels. But it feels like there's a lot of great things in this movie, but it just doesn't quite hit the mark. Still, I would highly recommend this movie. I had a lot of fun with it. It's just that I did notice in the film it dragged a little, and then afterwards when I was talking with my brother who I watched it with, Like, we were discussing things like, yeah, that was kind of stupid, yeah. But that was awesome. And, like, yeah, it's I would recommend it. It's a lot of fun to see. And, I mean, I think it doesn't add too much to see in the theaters, but I think it's a good, I love seeing, like, a horror thriller on the big screen. I really think, especially if you can get some other people around you, like, that's kind of the best way to see movies like that. So I would definitely recommend it. So I give it like an 8 out of 10. And thanks for watching. You can check out other video review playlists around my head, or subscribe to me over here. Thanks.